Hello there, and welcome to the third panels for 30 Days, 30 Ways UK. I'm joined by some professionals in the resilience side of things from around the UK. I'll introduce everybody. We've got Claire and Joan from Northern Ireland. Do you want to introduce yourself first, Claire?
Hi, I'm Claire O'Donnell. I'm a resilience officer for the Civil Contingencies Group in Northern Ireland.
Thank you, Claire. And Joan?
Hi everyone, my name is Joan McCaffrey. I'm the regional officer for the local resilience team, which crosses the three emergency preparedness groups in Northern Ireland.
That's lovely, and we'll come and hear about what you've been doing in Northern Ireland in a minute. Darren, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, good morning, everyone. My name's Darren Carson. I'm a prevention team leader here at Northamptonshire Fire and Rescue.
Thank you, Darren. And Susan?
Hello, good morning. My name is Susan Taylor. I'm a Partnership and Engagement Manager here at East Sussex Fire and Rescue, and I'm also the Water Safety Lead for the service.
That's lovely, thank you. And we'll hear from you both in a minute. We've had a busy week. We've had lots of partners taking part this week. We started off on Sunday with household preparedness. So what to do for your house to be a little bit more better prepared. Linking in with that is the grab bags. We had the grab bag day on Wednesday, and what we'd put in the grab bag. And I might warn you now, I might come back to you all and ask you, have you got a grab bag and what would you put in it? So there's a question there to put later. We then had map pit and water safety, about knowing how to report where you are to the emergency services, and we'll come to that when we talk to Susan and Darren in a minute. Yesterday was all about stopping the spread and about, although COVID's gone, it's all about stopping viruses, make sure that you have, what good hand hygiene and cleanliness. So that was yesterday's day, and then today is all about going in, staying in, and tuning in. So if the emergency is inside, we talked about that last week, having your fire escape to get out. And today is all about if the emergency is outside and you have to go in, stay in, close all doors and windows. How would you cope at home if you had to stay indoors because the emergency is outside for a few hours? And again, how would you cope if you had to stay indoors for more than 3 days? So today is all about knowing what to do around that. First, I'm going to come to Northern Ireland. It sounds like I'm in the Eurovision Song Contest, doesn't it? I've been watching social media about your campaign. It's actually going really, really well. So Claire and Joan, do you want to explain a bit more about what you're doing in Northern Ireland with 30 Days?
Okay, thank you. If you don't mind, I'm just going to share my screen with you now. We have pulled together a little bit of a presentation to explain where we're at with the campaign in Northern Ireland. So we've already introduced ourselves. Joan McCaffrey, the regional officer for Northern Ireland, and I'm Claire O'Donnell, a resilience officer for the Northern Emergency Preparedness Group in Northern Ireland. Just to give you a flavour, we have what I'll call a sister campaign going in Northern Ireland, which we're terming #BeReadyNI. And for the month of September, we're very pleased to report that we've had an excellent buy-in from our partner agencies right across the board. And you can see that we have a fairly full calendar, at least for weekdays in September. We have representation there from all of our blue lights, I think it's fair to say, from local and national government, from the likes of health and education as well, each leading out on the different topics as per the calendar. The buy-in's been really good. We have our partners supporting others in terms of sharing messages, reposting and retweeting things daily, and there has been a great level of support from partners in Northern Ireland. Just to give you a flavour of some of that support, I suppose, what we've done is we've pulled out a couple of those posts, and I'm going to pass over to Joan now to talk you through just a few of those.
Thanks, Claire. So we just thought it'd be useful just to share some of the posts that we have sent out. And I think because Northern Ireland is the only part of the UK that has a land border, this is the first year that we've had an all-island and a cross-border dimension to our Be Ready 30 Days, 30 Ways campaign. So you'll see on the 4th of September, we looked at cross-border communication and the importance of that, because as we all know, borders do not respect, or emergencies do not respect borders. So that was the first year we actually had that cross-border dimension, was very welcome. We've also had several tweets, etc., from Northern Ireland Service and the Fire Service and PSNI. And one of the things we looked at this year was about first aid. So we thought that was a useful update as well. And Claire, just pass on to the next slide. And so the Northern Ireland Fire Rescue Service, again, were very well received tweet, and again just trying to have that nudge to the 30 Days 30 Ways campaign as well, because we do recognise we're a bit different, but we also think it's a really strong collaborative campaign if we're using the 30 Days 30 Ways tag as well. It's just the final slide then, Claire. So today's message today is all about our community resilience, and we work across 40 different resilience groups across Northern Ireland. So we have then the link then to all our resources on our Northern Ireland government pages, the NI Direct, and also we've also had buy-in from our Minister, our Department for Infrastructure Minister, John O'Dowd. And also, again, just having that nudge back to 30 Days, 30 Ways and our Be Ready piece. So worked really well this year, Joanne. And again, I suppose just a relay thanks to Claire, who's led on the campaign and chased a lot of people and a lot of partners across the month, but it's been really successful. And also to yourselves then, just for having the, easy resources to lift. So it makes it so much easier. And also, I think because it is a national campaign, then it's so much stronger. So thank you.
Thank you both. That's really it is really interesting, and it's so good to see other regions playing. And I know next week on the panel, South Australia's come in on, because they've been playing the whole month this time as well. So that'd be good to hear what they're doing. Although it's not one of the UK, obviously, but it'd be nice. Or perhaps we are in the Eurovision Song Contest in part of Europe. But yeah, it'd be good to hear what they're doing over there. If anybody in the attendees want to ask any questions, the questions and answers are open. If you want to put any questions to anybody, thank you for that, and I'll come back and ask what's in your grab bag later. So one of the days was all about water safety, and we were joined by Susan and Darren. I'm going to come to Susan first. Can you give us sort of the tips what to do around water? I mean, we had a hot summer this year, and people just congregate, don't they, to the water. What can people do?
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, obviously, from a fire service perspective, we do deal with all of the inland water rescues. And so a lot of our work is around educating our local communities, because unfortunately, around 60% of accidental drowning fatalities do happen at inland water locations. We all kind of traditionally think it's going to be at the coast or on the beach, but it does happen at inland water locations such as lakes, reservoirs, rivers especially. So we would always urge people to really take care when near any areas of open water. And it's not always traditional water users. It's not people having activities on water. It's people who may just be running, walking, or cycling past areas of water. So we would definitely urge people to stay well away from the edge. If you have a dog, keep it on the lead, because often people's dogs go into the water and they think, oh, my dog can't get back out, so I need to go in and rescue. Now, we can rescue animals. We have specialist equipment to do that. But 9 times out of 10, your dog will get out safely after you've got in and you're struggling yourself. So it's around being aware of your environment, making sure that you stay well away from the edge, keep your dog on a lead. But also, if you do come into contact or you find yourself in trouble in water, please do not attempt to rescue anybody yourself. We would say definitely call 999. If you are inland water locations, do ask for the fire service. If you're at the coast, then it would be the Coast Guard. tell that person to float on their back if you can. Just tell them not to panic, tell them help is on the way, keep an eye on them. And if you've got anything with you, potentially, if you're out with children and you've got a football, if you've got anything that may float, throw that to them just to try and help them just to stay buoyant. But you will often find there will be a life ring or potentially a throw line bag, which may be in a protected box. There's normally a combination code and a telephone number that you can call. You'll be put through to the operator who will be able to give you the combination, and then you'll be able to get that throw bag out and throw it to somebody. I'm sure that Darren may want to talk about What 3 Words, so I won't, but it's a fantastic app. So I would definitely suggest that people do download that, but hopefully maybe Darren may know and be able to, I'm sure he does, be able to talk a little bit more about it. We've also, if you're at the coast as well, go to a lifeguarded beach, get to know your beach flags. And always pay attention to what those safety signs are telling you. And please do not take inflatables into the sea. You can very, very quickly be carried quite far out. And part of our education is also, if you want to enjoy the water, we all want you to enjoy the water, but we want to do it safely. So any activities that you're participating in, take some lessons, make sure you stay with friends, and make sure that you've got all the necessary equipment, including a life jacket or flotation device. And we're also supporting the Don't Drink and Drown campaign, which is happening this week, which is all around be a mate. If you're out with your friends and you're all enjoying alcohol, make sure that your route home past water, if your route home is past water, that you stick together. Don't go too close to the edge, and never ever think that it's a good idea to go for a swim after you've had any alcohol or drugs. Thanks.
Thank you, Susan. That was very informative. I know Darren's going to sort of do a bit of a double act and do the next part. Darren, over to you.
Yeah, no problem. It was just to sort of follow on from what my colleague Susan was saying. So what I'll do, I'll share my screen if you can see that, and I think it's on keeping in with your theme about making a plan. So there's some really good advice from our partners at the Royal Life Saving Society. If you're going to be near water, and it is just simply making a plan. So it's stopping and thinking where you are. And again, just linking back to what Susan said about What 3 Words, a lot of locations with water can be quite remote. So if somebody is in trouble, it's actually vital for us at Fire and Rescue to know where people are. And this is where apps like What 3 Words come in, which will give your precise location using 3 words. It's free to download from any app store, whether you're on the Apple or Android. So I'd strongly suggest that people download it, and it will let us know where you are. Should you be somewhere remote, we'll be able to find you. So water safety code, stop and think, take time to assess your surroundings. If it looks dangerous, then don't be there. Follow the local signs and advice, have What 3 Words downloaded. You're going to be somewhere remote, tell your family, tell somebody where you are, how long you're going to be, etc. Next thing, stay together is really important. I think Susan touched on that as well. If you speak to responsible open water swimmers, they will always swim in a group. They won't go alone, because if you go into water on your own, then you're in trouble. So we'd always say always be a group. And again, with the advice there about swimming at a lifeguarded venue, we'd always recommend that. So we know things like open water swimming is becoming more and more popular, and it's a great pastime. But we would always say, find a lifeguarded venue and learn from experienced open water swimmers. And again, in an emergency, as Susan said, call 999. If you're at the coast, it's the Coast Guard or RNLI. If you're inland, it's ourselves at Fire and Rescue, and that's who to ask for. And again, if you do see somebody in the water, we do discuss like what we call what's a RNLI float to live, and it is about essentially floating on your back like a starfish and calming that person down so they can get over the initial cold water shock. But some further advice, some great advice on the RNLI website as well around their safety plan and activity. We've looked at the RLSS. They do some great stuff as well, and there's always good things there to have a look. So just take some time to go and have a look from there. Quick example what 3 words looks like that we've just discussed, if you can see that there. So it essentially gives your location, and calls it 3 words, if you like. So you can find out where you are, you can pass that to emergency services. So as I say, it's a free app to use. Please feel free to kind of download and use it from there. And again, just finally, if there's any parents who are on, or anybody who, say, a teacher, is a fantastic website we promote called Staywise. And it's a lot of learning materials brought together by the emergency services, including ourselves at Fire and Rescue. It's free to register, so if you're a parent or you're a teacher, please join. There's loads of resources around water safety, but also fire safety and different other subjects. So yeah, just put Staywise in your browser, absolutely free to join. Thank you.
That's great, Darren. Thank you. And what I will do is every website that you've mentioned, I'll add it to the catch up when I download it onto YouTube, so people can just click on the links. That's great. Thank you. Yeah, we haven't got any questions at the moment, but I'm going to quickly come back to the grab bag day. So one of the things, I suppose, if you have to evacuate, being told to evacuate your home, is to have a grab bag. A bit like if you're going to hospital to have a baby, you have a bag ready. It's a bag that you can put with perhaps a torch. You can put copies of your medicines in there, your household emergency plan, and things for the kids or dog, your animals and pets. Now I have got one, and I've got one for my car as well. Of course I have. So have you got a grab bag? And if you haven't got a grab bag, what hopefully you will have one. What would you put in it? I'm going to come to Claire first. Sorry, Claire, because you're first on my screen.
Hands up, I don't have a grab bag, no. But things like I do have torches around the house, and I do know where to find those in the event that the electricity goes out. And being a football mum, I do have various coach jackets, hats, umbrellas in my car for events like that. And that's about as prepared as I am, being honest with you. But I should take the lesson and prepare that grab bag.
Yes. Darren, have you got a grab bag, and what would you put in it if you did?
I do. I have a bag ready for in case of emergency.
I
think that the kind of main thing for me is obviously is your cards and money, because you don't know how long you're going to be out of the house for. I think a mobile phone is invaluable as well, and maybe a charger or a charging bank that you can take as well. Small first aid kit is good, and I always think enough clothes for a couple of days until you can get yourself sorted out, or if you're struggling to get back in at your home, or depending where you're going to go. So yeah, I've got a bag in a spare room, and I've got a bit of a list. I know what I would chuck in it in an emergency.
Yeah. No, I mean, and they are really important. I mean, if the amount of times Northampton Fire and Rescue have rang us and said we've got people standing in the street, and we open the reception centre up, and people have come with nothing. A few months ago, people were evacuated from a hotel, just in their bed clothes, so they didn't even have shoes on. So just have that grab bag that you can actually use. Susan, have you got a grab bag?
Yeah, I really hope that you don't mind, but for me, I do open water swim, and I kind of focus my grab bag around what I would definitely take if I'm doing an activity on the water. So for me, it's always around having a waterproof phone pouch. So important. You can still use your touch screen by using that, but it does mean that if you get stranded, that you're able to call for help. Within that as well, a torch, whistle. So when I swim, have a tow float. So within that tow float bag, I can keep all of that equipment within there. First aid kit's really great, and also electrolyte gels. Something that can just keep you fueled if your temperature starts to drop. But obviously it really is that means that you can be able to call for help, call for assistance, and any activities that you're doing on water, make sure you've got a tow float with you, and make sure that you've, where possible, obviously if you're swimming, a life jacket isn't necessarily going to be any good, but if you're kayaking, paddleboarding, just really important, and a hat as well in there if you're kayaking or paddleboarding, and make sure that you're wearing the right stuff as well. Always a wetsuit, really. The sea and open water is traditionally cold. And what I could have probably mentioned earlier as well, if you're getting in and out, make sure that your launching site and your exit site that you can get in and then get back out again. So all
Yeah.
important things to remember for those sorts of activities from me.
Yeah, no, that's great. And I must admit, because I have got one in the car as well, but the amount of people, I mean, if your car breaks down or if you're getting stuck in a traffic jam, I've got about, I think I've got Tesco's supply of water in my car.
Yeah,
But it's
yeah,
just things
true.
like that. And as the
Yeah.
winter, and we do have the Road Safety Day on Monday coming up to talk about not just about being bright, being seen, but also, make sure you do your winter checks on your car. And to sort of have a grab bag in your car. So we'll talk about that on Monday as well. Joan, have you got a grab bag, and what would you put in it if you were to have one?
Yeah, I suppose we had quite a large evacuation in Northern Ireland over the summer with an unexploded World War II bomb. So people were out of their homes potentially for up to 5 days. So one of the things, one of the learning from that was make sure you have pet food. So the dogs and cats, etc., were leaving their homes, and those, so not just looking at yourself, but also your immediate family and your pets. One of the things that actually we have learned from our own resilience point of view over this last winter was to have power banks particularly for ourselves as responders, but also really useful because you depend so much on technology and even for comms when you're out. So to have those power banks and the proper USB leads. So yeah, so those are, as well as all the other things that the other participants have talked about.
Yeah, no, that is good. And I must admit, for me doing this so many years, my daughter had a fire in her block of flats, and she does realise now, and she will have a grab bag. But she kept saying to me, "Mum, you keep talking about grab bags. She didn't have one, but she now knows it's so important that if she had one, she'd have put all her stuff in it, and she'd been a lot better off. Because if you can't return to your home, you can't return to your home. But at least you have that grab bag that you can have your essential things in." So that's brilliant. That's really great. We haven't got any questions this week, but I'd like to thank you all for taking your time out of your busy schedules to join this panel. Thank you ever so much. We have a full week next week of things that we can talk about getting prepared. Like I said, road safety on Tuesday. Talk about pets. It's all about protecting your family this time. So pets, kids. That's next week, and the next week's panel will be our final one. We will be joined by the lady from South Australia to talk about what they're doing. We're also going to be joined back by the Emergency Planning Society chair and treasurer, and also some community groups, voluntary groups, to talk about how they've been doing 30Days 30 Ways UK this year as well. Don't forget, I've got my bingo card, so if you haven't, you can download your bingo card and cross off each day. Must admit, I haven't got a bingo yet. I haven't got a full line yet, but they will be next week. So that would be good. So cross your bingo card off. Thank you ever so much. And I wish you well. Have a nice weekend. And we'll see you again next week. Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye bye.